right, good afternoon and welcome to this week's Points and Miles report on traveling on everyday spend. As you can imagine, we have a lot of things to cover, a lot of news that you all have probably even already heard about, and I don't want to take up too much of you all's time, so we're going to jump right into it. Definitely want to first thank Tim for stopping in. Good afternoon to you, sir. Well, I'm not going to look at burying the lead as far as the news that we have going on today, and that is the 100,000 points for Chase Sapphire Preferred. Best offer we've seen in years. So we might as well just jump right into it. So this $100,000 point welcome bonus is after spending $5,000 in the first 3 months. Of course, that's up from the $4,000 in the first 3 months to $5,000, and a very small difference when you're looking at going from 60,000 points to 100,000 points. This is the highest bonus we've had in over 3 years. Just as the Sapphire Preferred is your good travel card. A lot of people will get that $95 card as part of the buildup of their travel portfolio of cards. So basically, as far as the multipliers, you're looking at 5x on travel booked through the Chase Travel Portal and on Lyft through September of 2027 at this point. 3x on dining, select streaming, and online groceries. And if you've not dealt with the Sapphire Preferred and the online groceries, I know it can catch you a bit off guard. I've had the Sapphire Preferred for quite a while. Unfortunately, I cannot get this bonus. My 4 years doesn't unfortunately end until August of this year. And somehow I don't think I'm going to be lucky enough for this to still be there. But the online grocery, for me, I just end up ordering online from the local grocery store. And that is for either for me to pick up or deliver. And the multiplier works just fine for me. So, but I know some people want to be able to go into the grocery store. So that is kind of the downside of that Chase Sapphire Preferred. Now, you'll get 2x on all other travel purchases, which is always a good thing to be able to get. You'll get 1x on all other purchases. As I mentioned, there's a $95 annual fee, but you do get up to a $50 annual hotel statement credit. And the good thing about it is that there is not a minimum that you have to spend to get that hotel statement credit. So it is easy to use. I normally will do it as one night of a multiple night stay. So it's very easy to use. 10% annual point bonus will come with this. Now, as far as the eligibility, which obviously everybody needs to know if you want to get this 100,000 points, if you're a current card holder of the Reserve or the Preferred, you're not going to be able to get it. You also have to be aware of the 48-month rule. So if you have earned a welcome bonus from the Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve in the last 48 months, you're not going to be eligible. You, of course, have Chase 524 to deal with. And that's, of course, if you've opened 5 or more new personal credit card accounts, including authorized user and some business accounts in the past 24 months, you won't normally get approved. Now, if you are over 524 and authorized users, you being an authorized user is a part of that component, then definitely talk to their line to be able to discuss with them that so that they can potentially take those off of your list and bring you down under 524. And then you also need to be aware of shifting funds. So if you've got a lot of credit limits out and you don't have enough credit limit to be able to support getting another card, Chase is very good about letting you move the funding around. And I've definitely have done that, I think, one time before. That is easy to do. They normally don't deny you or deny your application. They'll normally make it as a pending application, pending you getting that potentially addressed. So that's kind of the bullet points that you need to keep in mind when it comes to that Chase Sapphire Preferred. And I hope all of you all are eligible to get it, other than obviously me not being able to get it. So, but I wanted to lead with the biggest news that we've got. No need to kind of leave it out there. And I want to say hello to Matt. Appreciate you stopping through. Obviously, I've always talked about Matt in the tidbits. He just did a live stream last night. I think he may be doing one today even. I think he mentioned that during his live stream from last night. I have 2 Sapphire videos to do now, don't I? Yeah, I think we all do need to get that information out. So thanks for stopping through, Matt. And Rodrigo, appreciate you coming in. Build card is better in my opinion, but yeah, I will take the build card straight up. But yes, you gotta, if you can get that 100,000 points, 100,000 is still 100,000. And Chad Money Minutes, appreciate you stopping through, sir. I know he was on the community last night, and I've seen a lot of notes about it. I've not had a chance to watch it yet. I'll be doing that afterwards, so appreciate you stopping through, Chad. Yep, good evening to you. And Matt, Bill keeps taking a sledgehammer to their own feet. Yeah, we're kind of left with what we have for right now. Hopefully they're gonna listen to some of us about what's going on. Tim is 424 is like next year for me as well. Yeah. Hopefully we'll see something come back through, but sometimes we just end up missing this podcast live stream tonight. I thought that's what I heard or saw when I was watching. So let's move to the credit card offers that we have. We obviously have the Hilton Honors cards that are going to be through April 29th. It is for all 4 of those Hilton cards. I currently working on a video reviewing all 4 of them. I'm hopeful that'll be out in a few days for that. And we've also still have the Marriott Bonvoy cards, the Bevy and the Brilliant through May 14th of 2025 with the elevated offers. Then Bank of America, we still do have the Alaska Airlines personal and business cards. Don't know how much longer that's going to go. That's been out for quite a while now, but we don't have an end date that I've seen so far. So if you're interested in those, you might not want to hold off much longer. There's also Bank of America with Air France KLM, but it's an online offer, not easily directly through Bank of America. I'll have a link for that, of course, as well as the other links for these. Venture, we still have that for Capital One with the $95 annual fee, but we have the $250 travel credit that is now added to it. Didn't have a chance to get some of this updated. I was rushing around too much. So the Southwest cards are obviously done as of a couple days ago. But what we do have now that I didn't have a chance to get a slide done for now is we have 85,000 points for the Avios cards, British Airways, Iberia, as well as Aer Lingus for 85,000 points. So that is an elevated offer that is available now on Chase. We also have the Business Premier with IHG, the $99 card. Really a big fan of the Premier card, personal or business. This is in 2 pieces, though, for that 200,000 points. 140,000 points for $4,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. 60,000 points for $9,000 worth of spend in the first 6 months. I personally view this as just 140,000 point. I just don't see putting that much money into it for 60,000 more points. I'm sure that some may have differing thoughts. Definitely be interested in hearing your thoughts on that. Then, of course, we have the Disney cards. If you just have to have a Disney card, we do have the elevated offers on both the Visa and the Premier Visa with the higher statement credit. And then I do want to mention, mentioned already about the remaining cards for Chase. Of course, you have the United cards, but that goes without saying. Major overhaul that we've seen recently with United. All of those have had their annual fees go up with a few different partner credits as we're starting to see on that. So that's definitely on the table as well. Citi, you have the Advantage Platinum card that is elevated at 75,000 miles. The 2 cashback cards with US Bank, the Cash Plus and the US Bank Shopper Cash card. I'm not a huge cashback person, but I am really a big fan of the Shopper Cash card, even with that $95 annual fee, but it is waived in the first year for you to be able to try it. And then, of course, Wells Fargo has the One Key cards for if you are an Expedia, Hotels.com, or Vrbo user, then you have the bonus offers for there as well. Barclays, we still have the elevated offers on all three Wyndham cards, the Earner Plus, as well as the Business. We still have the elevated offer with Barclays on the JetBlue Plus card. And so then we can move to topic 3 with the transfer bonuses, but definitely want to say hi, Yuri. Appreciate you stopping through, sir. And hey, John, appreciate you stopping through. Just saw that he put his trifecta video on the American Express just came out. He's been doing a full review of the trifectas, the most popular ones, and been using just the trifecta for a month and then kind of reports back to his use of it. So definitely check him out. He's making his way to 1,000 subscribers just like I am. So definitely make sure to check his video out. I'm sure it's as good as the Chase one that I've already seen. And then as far as the transfer bonuses, not too much that we've got going on, and unfortunately not a whole lot to really utilize. Amex has Aeromexico at 20% through the end of the month. Chase has IHG for 80% through the end of the month. And then Citi has Avianca for 25% through April 12th. Nothing are groundbreakers for that, but that's what we're working with right now. Now, as far as the points and miles opportunities, there's a few of them. I normally don't read out all of these because there's just too many of them. But I'll highlight a few of the ones that are either ending soon or just kind of picking up. So as far as the core Live Limitless, we constantly see offers for this one, and it goes from 2x or 3x points on select countries or 4x for their new hotels. I think their new hotel one is interesting at 4x because of the fact that the list is refreshed every 60 days as far as what qualifies for it. Registration is required for both, so be sure to do that. I'll have links for that in the description. Alaska Airlines does have a sale that ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and they have one-way flights as low as 4,000 miles, which would include, for instance, Boise to Las Vegas, San Diego to Las Vegas, and San Francisco to Las Vegas. Just what I did, wasn't fixated on Las Vegas, just the easiest ones to see. Then you have one for 7,500 miles to go from San Diego to OGG. Can't believe I'm forgetting that right now. It will come to me. Or somebody in the comment section can remind me of what the OGG code is for. And then 17,500 miles for San Diego to Orlando, which is definitely not a bad one there. But you do have to jump on that tonight. And be able to get that done for that. Best Western has multiple different promotions. Two of them are essentially the same. Thank you, Yuri, for OGG being Maui. Best Western's 2x bonus points. They have one that ends April 30th, one that ends May 11th, but it's the same exact promotion that you can earn 10 times with that bonus. Registration required only in United States, Canada, and the Caribbean. British Airways has one, has a bonus, 40% bonus when you purchase British Avios, be anywhere from 2,000 to 200,000 points or Avios, you'll get 40%. So if you maxed it out, you would be getting 200,000 Avios plus 80,000 Avios for a total of 280,000 Avios for a cost of $4,599, which is 1.64 cents per point. And as we always talk about, that is just a baseline. The value is what you can make of it. Definitely not something to hold yourself to of what you need to earn from it. If you do have the British Airways Visa card, though, you can get 3x on your purchase of those points. So if that is something of interest and you have that card, definitely don't miss out on that. Aegean and Olympic Air, I bring this out. They do this every so often. This is not something that flies from the United States. This is really to jump between the Greek islands. But if you're already out there, and I know that one of our content creators was out in Greece, don't know if he got the chance to be able to do this, but this is 2x bonus points on every pay point stay through May 11th. Sorry, that's the wrong one. But they have a offer that I'll have a link for. It's 40% off actually of the fare to jump between the different islands. So that'll be an option. I'll make sure to have that up for you. Not much with Choice. Hyatt, you still have the 777 bonus points. This is all related to casino hotels. Registration is required. You can do it up to 10 nights, and it is from different casino hotels from Las Vegas to the Caribbean, so in multiple places in between. The Hyatt, I will mention this even though we've obviously gotten past the whole devaluation, 25% discount on points purchased. That ends on April 14th. And let's see, I think we've got a couple of other items here. Southwest has a 30% discount on their base fare. Now you do have to book by April 7th and at least 21 days before departure. You'll use promo code TAKE30. Now there's different date restrictions as far as for the continental US travel, that's between April 22nd and August 27th. Inner island within Hawaii is between April 22nd and June 3rd. And then if you're either going or coming from Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and any other location international, you're looking at August the 17th through October 3rd. This is only specific between Wanna Getaway and Wanna Getaway Plus. So those are ones to kind of keep in mind for that. And JetBlue has a few different promotions going on right now. They have on their vacation packages anywhere from $25 off all the way to $300 off if it's a $6,000 or more package. It will include airport transfers up to $50, not zero, and a welcome meet and greet. You can book this by December 31st of 25 and still travel up until November 27th of 2026. They also have VIP perks for certain select locations where you'll get $125 or more perk at various locations. This is ones that at least include the flight and a 4+ night stay at select resorts. You do have to book that by December 31st of 25, but the good thing is there is no end date listed for that. And then lastly, for JetBlue, there is a sale that ends tonight as well, 11:59 p.m., spring into summer sale. Travel dates are between April 22nd and July 30th. And if you've seen their sales before, they normally have restrictions on the days you can fly. This applies as well. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are the travel dates, but you can find some one-ways as low as $49. That may work for some people. And let me see, I've got Sean, appreciate you stopping through. Would you rather have Capital One miles or Alaska miles? Asking due to the sign-up bonus you showed. You know what, I'm more fond of the Alaska miles myself, if you have to only get one. That's just for me. I'm curious of what the rest of the viewers have in mind. I just have found them to be extremely beneficial. I've used them to fly for my flight to Puerto Rico coming up later this year. I used them for my wife and I to fly to Las Vegas, both of those through American Airlines. And all of those flights are at 30,000 miles in first class one way. So I've got a lot of mileage out of those so far. So I'm very fond of Alaska miles, but I did use Capital One miles when I tried to build up the Qantas points to fly to Australia. As I've done in a video before, I think that the one nagging thing about Capital One is the fact that you do have to go through a few hoops if you want to fly domestically. It's not impossible by any means, and I've done it before. But I'm just more of a fan of Alaska miles. But I appreciate you asking and curious of what other people have to think. Get the bonus on Amex instead. That's a point as well. So I want to touch on Chase Pay Yourself Back. We've got different information for a lot of cards through June 30th and wanted to make sure to run through these because I know a lot of us have these cards. So as far as the cards, we've got the Chase Sapphire Reserve is at 1.25 cents per point for gas stations, groceries, pet supply stores, veterinary services, as well as your annual fee. The Chase Sapphire Preferred also has 1.25 cents per point, but unfortunately, just on the qualifying charities. Chase Freedom cards have the same 1.25 cents per point on select charities. When it comes to the JP Morgan Reserve, it has the same benefit as the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but it also has 1.5 cents per point for qualifying charities. And then as far as all of the Ink cards, you get 1.25 cents per point to certain charities. Southwest, on the personal side, you can get 1 cent per point on the annual fee. Aeroplan has it through December 31st of 25, and you can do 1.25 cents per point on the annual fee and 0.8 cents per point on home improvement stores and gas stations. The Marriott Bonvoy Bold is the only Marriott card that is listed as a pay yourself back option with no deadline currently. 0.8 cents per point for a statement credit for travel on your credit card. And then United, which has no deadline either, has 1.35 cents per point to 1.55 cents per point, depending upon the card. And there's also 1 cent per point on United airfare. And so those are the options that we have for the Chase Pay Yourself Back. Now, as far as SkyTeam, we did have some change as far as their lounge access. And let's take a look at them. So these changes became effective on April 1st. And let's start with the good. The good is the domestic lounge access. Now, this is all related to Elite Plus members, where basically you only had access if you had traveled with an international itinerary. Now, that was different than what we saw with One World and Star Alliance, and which allows access on all their itineraries with a few minor restrictions. Now, SkyTeam Elite Plus members will now have access on domestic flights as well. Now, initially, this will apply to the following lounges, and I won't read them all off, but basically Air France, Garuda Indonesia, Kenya Airways, China Eastern, Scandinavian Airlines, Saudia, and Vietnam Airlines. Now note that the Delta Sky Miles members is not applicable here in the United States, which is not surprising if you've been using Delta Sky, going into the Sky Clubs and such. And then Aerolíneas Argentinas is not applicable for this domestic basis worldwide. And then as far as the 3-hour restrictions, previously SkyTeam did not have a 3-hour rule on lounge access. You're going to hear some background noise for a bit as we're having some groceries actually dropped off. So I apologize for that. Now, previously SkyTeam did not have a 3-hour rule on lounge access. SkyTeam Elite Plus members, as well as SkyTeam First and Business Class customers, basically will be tied into that 3-hour restriction now. Now, this does not apply to all lounges, so there will be some lounges that will not worry about the 3-hour access. I tells you how much I got into different lounges and how limited I've been. I thought the 3-hour restriction really applied to everybody. I'm used to seeing it in the Centurion Lounge, used to seeing it in the SkyTeam, in the Delta Sky Club. So this was a new thing for me. Tells you I haven't gotten out enough as far as knowing about this. And then as far as the lounge guesting restrictions, what will happen with SkyTeam Elite Plus members is that you'll be able to continue to bring in your one guest, but unfortunately, the change is that now the guest must be traveling on the same SkyTeam operated flight as you as the member. So that is a change versus I think they only had to be able to fly, they needed to fly on a SkyTeam operated flight, but it didn't have to be the same flight as you were on. And so let's see. What's my home airport? My home airport is for CMH Columbus, Ohio. That was one of the things with Columbus and related to Alaska Airlines is the fact that there's only one Alaska airline flight that leaves out of this airport once a day, and it just goes to Seattle. So I've not necessarily gotten the mileage that I would have wanted to out of the companion fare that you get with the Alaska airline card. But that is where mine is. Now, I did not know the Centurion was at a 4-hour limit, Yuri. So I appreciate you pointing that out. I had thought that I was restricted to 3 hours on that, so I will make sure to pay more attention to that. Yeah, definitely understood that the layovers are unlimited for that. Happy Thursday to you, Lonnie. Appreciate you stopping through. Lonnie just did, I think about a day or two ago, had his video out on the Hilton Aspire card, which was an excellent review. So if you're interested in that, definitely check him out. I got good information from that. And so now let's look at British Airways Club, which used to be British Executive, has now been renamed, and now we have changes with them as well that became applicable on April the 1st. So for this one, they have basically been using tier points, and it was basically you earned the tier points almost exclusively by the length of your flight as well as the fare class you were in. Well, that's now changing, and because of it changing and them creating more opportunities to earn these tier points, they have dramatically raised the level of those points. So for bronze, it used to be 300 tier points. Now it's 3,500. For silver was 600, now 7,500. Gold, 1,500, now 20,000. And gold guest list, 5,000 used to be, now 65,000. So how are you going to be able to make those points up? Well, you still do have the travel itself, but now they wanted to make different opportunities based upon spend. And so the main spending that they've talked about is earning on ancillary spending such as seat selection and excess baggage. They've talked about earning up to 1,000 tier points per year for contributing to the sustainable aviation fuels, where you would get 1 tier point and 10 avios per British pound. And then earn unlimited tier points for booking British Airways holiday vacations, and that'll be 1 tier point to 1 British pound. So if you are doing the vacations for sure, that can help you get there, especially because it's unlimited. You can also earn 2,500 tier points per year, but on credit card spending. But keep in mind, it is not the British Airways Visa card that comes from Chase. It is the British Airways Amex Premium Plus card that is there in England. So for us U.S. citizens, we're not going to be able to get credit card spend to go towards those tier points. They've also established milestone benefits as you go through this process. So you can get 2,500 avios once you reach 5,500 tier points. You can get 4,000 avios once you reach 11,000 tier points, and then 5,000 avios once you reach the 16,000 tier point status. So those are the things that we're seeing out of British Airways for that. Now we have to move to the final week of Wyndham Member Month. We've obviously gone through, this is the 5th week of the program. They've had a lot of different things out. And even though this is the final week, there are a lot of those week promotions that are still out there. So I want to make sure you're aware of those as we get near the end date. So the new one for week 5 here is $100 property credit on all inclusive stays of 3 nights or more. Now, to qualify, booking must be done at the property credit rate, which I'll touch on in a moment. And that needs to be done by May 30th and and have your stay by December 31st of this year. Now, the property credit must be used during that stay, that particular stay. It's not something you can keep. The one thing you want to make sure of this is $100 is nice, but that property credit price is normally going to be higher than the member rate that you would see when you do the booking. So make sure you do the calculation to see if it makes sense for you to go for this $100 property credit and figure you're losing at the end. Then there is 5,000 bonus points at Caesars reward destinations. And you'll receive this when you book, but you do have to book directly through Wyndham Rewards. And you must book at a qualifying rate that mentions 5,000 bonus points. So once again, be careful of what that rate is to make sure if the points is a good deal for you or not. This again, you'll need to book by April 30th and complete your stay by September 1st. What's still going on, you still have the 2,000 bonus points for online shopping. That is through April 9th. You still have the save up to 35% with bonus points with Avis. That goes through April 30th for car rentals as well. And then you'll end up having the Member Month sweepstakes. Now that closes on April 6th, where they have grand prizes as well as first prizes that you can be able to get. Then you have double points when booking a Wyndham travel bundle. Bundle must include one night of lodging and another travel element, but that is still available through April 30th. And then you have the 80% bonus when buying points. That is still applicable through April 15th. And then you also have the stay 2 nights, earn 7,500 points. That is good through May 9th. So a lot of different options. If you're a Wyndham person, that might be something you want to end up looking at. Let's see. Now, as far as new hotel openings, I like to kind of bring these out because, especially if we're people that are using points and miles to do lodging, there may be some new hotels that you may not have been aware of that might be something to look forward to. So I do have a few of them to share to see if maybe there might be something that works for you all. So the first one is the Hotel Seville Nomad. Now, this used to be called the James Nomad, and this is in New York City. It is going to be now under the Hyatt Unbound collection as a Category 6, 21,000 points. It is located on Madison Avenue, just blocks from Madison Square Park and the Empire State Building. Now, if you've ever heard of Scarpetta, which is a very good Italian restaurant, from what I hear, I've not been there yet. They have different locations, but this location was the original, I believe, and Scarpetta will still be in this newly named hotel. It has 348 guest rooms and suites and has 19th century architecture. So that is available right now to be able to book. Then we have an IHG location in Sicily. And this is the, if I pronounce it correctly, the Costa Ermina Retreat and Spa, and it's part of the Vignette collection. This is only 43 rooms, and it overlooks the sea, located in Marina de Ragusa, near the southern tip of the island. Features a pair of swimming pools, private beach club with direct access to the sea. Now, this is supposed to open in the second half of 2025, but I've not seen any numbers yet of what we're looking at for IHG. Then, if you're a person that might watch the Vanderpumps, they've obviously have different eating spots there in Las Vegas. They're now going to be converting the Cromwell in Las Vegas. It's a boutique hotel, 188 rooms. They're going to convert that to a Vanderpump hotel, which I can't tell you what that actually means. There's been no further details, but that is going to be scheduled to open in 2026. That one's not necessarily under a particular program as of right now, but just one to kind of keep an eye on just in case. And then we've got, let's see if I can pronounce this one well too. The Kalai Waikiki Beach, geez. That one is having $100 million makeover. So in 2023, this in Waikiki Beach, this used to be a Trump International Hotel in 2023. Then it joined Hilton as the Kalai Waikiki Beach in 2024 as an LXR location. But beginning June 2nd, LXR will begin a $100 million renovation on this 15-year-old hotel because it is not really up to snuff of an LXR hotel if you've ever been in one of them. Now you can stay there before the remodel is actually complete, and that is low as $390 per night or 100,000 points, at least as a starting point. But that is happening there. Park City is converting in Park City, Utah. The Park City Peaks Hotel will be converting to the Hotel Thames. and it will be part of the Tribute Portfolio Hotel collection within Marriott Bonvoy. I think there's only 60 locations or so around the world of this collection. And basically, they view it as upscale to upper upscale boutique experience. Now, it is being renovated as well, but it will remain open until completion which is expected to be October 2025. Now, currently the pricing starts at $152 if you were looking at August, $161 if you were looking at November. Don't know how much the prices are going to change for this hotel once the renovation is complete, but that is a new location for Marriott. And then we have the Clivia San Miguel de Allende, I think. This is in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, which is about 3 hours north of Mexico City. This is going to be a Marriott Autograph collection. Only 74 rooms and 42 residences. But the great thing about this is that while it's got an average price of $300 a night, it only is showing for points at a lot of times as low as 16,000 points, which is one of the best rates for a luxury hotel, especially under the Autograph collection. So I have not been there as far as even anywhere around that area, so I'm not sure. I think it's considered to be in the highlands part of Mexico when you're 3 hours north of Mexico City. But if anybody is familiar with that area, feel free to chime in on that. But those are locations that we've got coming up for them. And so now let's take a look at this Wi-Fi activity that we're getting both from Delta and United. And we've talked about both of them before, but I thought I found it interesting based upon some of the updates we just got from both Delta and United. So for Delta, they initiated its goal of going free Wi-Fi throughout the fleet, and they did that in 2023. They're working with T-Mobile. Now, most of the domestic fleet is completed, but the international flights have a long way to go. So Delta recently announced that the international flights should have all of the free Wi-Fi and for all airplanes by late 2025. Now, as of now, free Wi-Fi is available on all routes between the United States and Europe, Israel, as well as West Africa. By late spring of 2025, it should be on flights to South America, and then the remaining international flights should be completed by the end of the year. Now, these international flights were intended to be done by the end of 2024, but they have clearly missed that timeline. At the same time, we've seen United really work to elevate the level of their total travel experience, not just Wi-Fi, but United is working with free Wi-Fi through Starlink. The first goal was to get their regional jets done, and they just actually, I think this week, got their supplemental type certification for the Embraer E175, which means that they've completed all of the Embraer E175s. Now, there's still at least 16 more certificates to get to complete the entire fleet. But the only timeline we have from United so far is that they're going to complete the entire 2-class regional fleet, which is more than 300 planes, be in service with Starlink by the end of this year. And they seem to be moving right on schedule for that. So that is what we're seeing from the standpoint of Wi-Fi rollout. I see Yuri said Mexico prices are very reasonable, if not at a beach. Yeah, that is true. Curious as far as from the luxury standpoint, it seems like, at least from the parts that I've read, that the 16,000 points still seems to be a very good deal. But yes, from what I've read, I have not been down to Mexico. That's still kind of on the list. But thank you for sharing that for people like me that have not been there. And I see that you're going to be visiting the Ritz at the CDMX this time. I've not been to a Ritz yet, so that is still a new one for me as well. And then let's take a look at Flying Blue promo rewards for April 2025. We've obviously done this each month to talk about some of the deals that you can be able to get through Flying Blue. Now, this is a promotion that they do for discounted redemptions for flights to Europe. Bookings must be made by April 30th of 2025 and is valid for travel until September 30th. So there is a small window we're dealing with. And you can get flights to and from Europe in economy starting at 15,000 miles, premium economy starting at 26,250 miles, and then business starting at 37,500 miles each way. We do have less offerings than we normally do, though, this month. As far as the long haul to Europe from North America, we only have Air France economy from JFK. We have KLM economy from Houston and Montreal. And then for the international departures to Europe, we've got from Port-au-France and Pointe-à-Pitre, and then Air France Premium Economy from Cairo and Cayenne, and various, I don't want to make sure to read all of these off, but as you can see from North America, we are very limited this month. Normally we would see 2 or 3 different locations that are going on, but you may find it worth the repositioning at worst for Houston, JFK, or Montreal. But the deals that are being offered for the international departures to Europe, as well as the short haul and medium haul flights, are still very rich as far as number of locations. I'll definitely have a link for this page so that you can be able to review all of these. Always keep in mind, though, taxes and fees are not discounted on these award tickets, so the cost can be $200 to $300 each way. And make sure to look and see if there are any bonuses or point transfers that might come up this month to help this if you're already looking at it. And then we have Lufthansa Miles and More. Now, I actually thought we may not see this anymore because of the changes that Lufthansa has made, but pleasantly surprised, although there's a lot of restrictions with this program, because the number of opportunities is dramatically higher than last month. So this promotion has normally been going on each month and normally involves the entire group under Lufthansa, which includes Austrian, Brussels, Eurowings, Discover, Lot Polish, Lufthansa, and Swiss Airlines. But you need to book by April 30th. You have a small window of traveling between July 15th and August 31st. As far as the number of flights, last month we only had 109 that flew from the US. Now we have 475. So that is spread out between business class. There are 213 options this time for 55,000 mile round trip flights. There were 0 business class flights last month. Boston, Miami, JFK, Newark, Philadelphia, and Dulles to fly LOT, Polish, Lufthansa, or Swiss. Premium economy was 6 last month. We have 116 this time. And basically going out of Miami and Philadelphia, flying LOT Polish and Lufthansa flights. The economy flights are pretty similar to what we had last time, which was 103 last month. We have 146 this month with 30,000 mile round trip. And that is out of Denver, Miami, JFK, Philadelphia, and Seattle, flying Austrian, LOT, Polish, or Lufthansa. Now, the great prices round trip, but if you're not someone that's paid attention to these, you cannot cancel the flights for a refund. The taxes and fees can be very expensive with these flights, and it's not the easiest to be getting Lufthansa miles for this. Outside of their credit card, there can be promotions every now and again with a partner, but there is not one of the major credit card issuers like we see with so many other ones. So, but that's the information, the news that we have for today. Now, LOT is not a part of Lufthansa Group. Now, that's an interesting one because I've listed LOT as part of the group. Well, I will stand corrected if I am, so I apologize for that. Thanks for pointing it out, Yuri. But that's the news that we have for today. Want to make sure if there's any questions, thoughts, or anything else I may have made a mistake on, don't hesitate to ever let me know, because I always want to make sure that I'm providing the correct information for you all. But if there's anything else that we need to touch on, or anything on the news, or anything going on, and if not, what I will do is I will get this figured out for the timestamps and get this up as a recording. And I want to thank each and every person for taking their time out of their busy schedule to be able to come on to this live stream. I really appreciate it. I see that Tim is saying that he's taking his 9 Hilton gift cards out next week. And Balat is a part of Star Alliance. Thank you, Yuri. So want to thank you all for spending your time with me tonight. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll do this again next week. Thank you so much, and take care.